Radionics, the secret of the known as wishing machines. Getting the welfare and the things you want through radionic devices. Preface. This book aims to bring the reader to the fascinating and little-known world of radionics. This relatively misleading name has nothing to do with receivers or conventional radio transmitters, but with tools that enhance abilities and psyche of their users. From the outset, it has tried to avoid excessive dependence on theories that try to explain how this phenomenon works. Rather, it has sought to provide an overview of the broad spectrum where you can practically apply this system for amplification and enhancement of the extraordinary capabilities that every human being possesses to greater or lesser extent. The intention was to consider practical situations that any user can experience with radionics devices and check the results by himself. An approach with an open mind is required, but this is not just to believe or not to believe what is presented on the following pages. Neither is asked for acceptance or rejection about what is written without more evaluation. This book simply suggests a personal testing if any of the experiences described may be of interest to the reader. Come in, a world of extraordinary possibilities may be waiting. Chapter 1. The science of personal development based on the so-called radionics. What you need to know to get the most out of it. In this general chapter, you'll discover that what is a radionics, what it involves, how it is implemented, and the extraordinary possibilities that you can expect from it. An open mind and positive disposition to approach this book is suggested. It's not intended to convince with the words, but to encourage the reader to ponder and evaluate, to consider new possibilities and horizons, to appreciate by himself the validity of the theory and reach his or her own conclusions through their own experience. Let your imagination run wild. Imagine for a moment that you would have in your hands a device that would allow you to reach and realize your dreams, something like a modern and improved version of Aladdin's lamp, where there wasn't need to deal with a genie and where the wishes were not limited to 3 but were infinite. Health, money, love, traveling. Do you want to increase your standard of living, help others, produce more favorable circumstances for you and yours, enhance the physical possibilities, increase your ability to learn, enhance your business, develop skills more easily, influence plants and animals? It sounds great, right? And how about if there really is something like this? If it is not a dream nor a joke? Actually, we talk about the possibilities presented by science called radionics. Of course, there is no question of flying on a carpet or being able to destroy mountains with a simple wish. We refer to increasing detection capabilities, broadcast, attraction, and achievement to the limit. Detection, emission, attracting, achievement. Please read and understand better what it's all about. What is radionics? Radionics is a science. We understand science as a set of systematically structured knowledge. Knowledge that is developed using regular patterns and experimentation. Radionics uses instruments with electrical or electronic circuits for measurement of vibration and subtle energies that shape both the physical elements and intangible ones. We will look in greater detail about that. With radionics devices, it's possible to receive subtle information and broadcast subtle information in the same manner. According to radionic theory, when these devices are used correctly, we can configure thoughts so that the circumstances around us are altered to realize the goals, desires, and objectives we want to or need. Radionics devices are designed with the objective of providing connection between human consciousness and the subtle energies presented in any object, living being, thought, or form. Everything that exists or everything we can conceive can be assigned to a number, a coordinate or a representation of some kind. Radionics devices usually work with numbers, coordinates set by potentiometers on the devices, words, or even drawings to which specific meanings are assigned. If we talk about health issues, a person can use a radionic device to detect disease on themselves or another individual, always at the vibrational level. Diseases that may already be present or in developing process at physical level. You can measure the vitality of a particular organ, a set of organs, or an entire organism. Again, we always refer to a subtle level. A therapist can assess remotely using a sample of the patient to diagnose the person depending on the type of radionic devices the therapist has. But radionics is much more than that. It amplifies up to extraordinarily limits the power of intention and the power of goals, materialization. It increases in an extraordinary way the possibilities of materializing desires of all kinds formulated in the mind of the operator through his radionic device. Depending on the type of device used, it can be accelerated to a greater or lesser extent, obtaining what is sought: personal development, improving skills, vibrational treatments for diseases, solving personal problems, businesses and economic objectives, etc. It can also work with animals, plants, or insects. So you can improve plantation yields, eliminate pests, balance places and environment, help heal animals, or even work with microorganisms. It is even possible to modify or improve flavors and transmit vibratory elements and features to liquids and food. What measures radionics? To clarify concepts, we start from the premise that everything in the universe can be named somehow. We could give a name to it, or better yet, we could give a numerical definition or parameter. Say, for example, that the cream-colored three-seater sofa in your room could be represented by a number 0894. We could also do the same with ideas. The visualization that someone can do with the aim of achieving a goal can be represented by a number or coordinates. So, John Smith's wish to achieve an award in archery can be linked to a numbering using a potentiometer. That numbering would represent the achievement of that achievement. A different numbering would be for the current status of John Smith in relation to that achievement. Now he still doesn't have the award. You can measure the vibratory health of a body at a precise moment in time and set a parameter to the same body with a perfect health. You can set measures for individuals or groups. The same for animals, situations, goals to avoid unpleasant situations, to obtain remedies, to improve food, crops, flavor, to learn faster, to concentrate better, to improve processes, and for anything else a person can imagine. Radionics equipment can accelerate and increase the chances of obtaining individual or group objectives in an astonishing way. Many people know the benefits of creative visualization, that is, use the mind to imagine what we want in order to materialize that mental image. Radionics goes further. It acts as an enhancer element which serves to accelerate the realization of these objectives that is displayed and are created in the human mind. Radionics devices are instruments that direct the mental energies toward goals, giving extra power and magnifying these energies to the limit. It is important to mention that many of the phenomena that can be observed with the procedures and radionic devices are so amazingly strange and unusual to the scientific and analytical mentality that many people do not consider it a true science, but a practice rather that has to do with unconventional procedures, even magical or placebo effects. Here, it should be noted that the same principles applies to other methods, such as homeopathy, qigong, visualization, naturopathy, and other sciences that work, but purely analytical minds do not admit as serious, tested, or acceptable to be taken into consideration. Moreover, for those who know the nature of radionics and explored its possibilities, this developing science provides a holistic understanding of human consciousness and its potential. Not only at healing level, therapeutic level, or analytical level, also at the level of achievement of objectives and improvement in almost every field imaginable. Radionics devices have been described by many as wishing machines, when they experience firsthand the benefits they offer. We are not saying that anything is possible. The physical or psychological limitations will still be there, but you will be amazed how you can tip the scales in your favor or develop the skills that you have not thought to have much more easily. So, you cannot expect to grow wings with a radionic device, but you can program your radionic machine in order to expect that things will happen so that you can get flight to a country that you want to visit. You won't be able to lift 5,000 kilos with your physical strength, but you can increase your sports performance to levels that could not be imagined. You cannot have two brains, but you can increase your learning ability to high levels. If we are talking about a therapeutic field, you can use certain radionic devices to make a bioenergic diagnosis of ailments or diseases, even when they have not yet appeared on a physical level, as mentioned before. Remember that we speak at all times of diagnosis at a vibratory level. Only doctors can diagnose physical illnesses. You can set programs to help a person improve or treat physical or energetic diseases, entering subtle fields of human morphology, plant or animal. The results are often spectacular. Many people in the world of radionics find the solutions they have not found elsewhere or by any other means. Radionic machines can act as a kind of psychic amplifier. We refer to the unconscious capacity of the person who uses these devices to perceive different energies or vibratory states. Radionics enable us to connect to each other and with the universe through its devices. This amplifying capacity allows therapists to perform very precise diagnosis of the diseases that affect a patient without having made a prior physical examination. It can be done remotely using a sample of the person, blood, saliva, hair, or even a photograph. In this sense, it seems that radionics rely on the universal connection or matrix, on which many modern scientists theorize. It's important to specify that radionics devices can amplify innate psychic healing abilities of a person. They're also capable of transmitting very specific vibration to someone suffering from an illness with amazing energy efficiency, even if the person is thousands of kilometers away or on the opposite side of the world. However, despite the practical evidence, to date there is no acceptable scientific explanation of how this phenomenon occurs. It should be noted here that the bioresonance equipment used in alternative therapies and medical consultation are a derivation of radionic devices. They're better known and accepted simply because they are not used remotely and the patient is usually present in the consultations. Examinations and treatments are made when the patient holds up with his hands two electrodes through which vibrational information is transmitted and received. The final concept is very similar. The vibration emitted by the patient in relation to an organ or set of organs is measured and then is projected back with the correct parameters to correct the problem. We must point out that the efficiency of bioresonance equipment improves exponentially when used in conjunction with radionics devices that emit organ energy. This has been noticed by many therapists and we'll talk in more detail below. How are radionic devices work? We have said that there are different types of devices, but there are present basic similarities. A machine, radionics, is an electrical or electronic circuit that serves both to capture information and to send information. It is not entirely conceived following the usual pattern of electrical circuits and cannot make sense from the point of view of an electronic expert. It usually consists of a plate or container where sample from a person is placed. Photo, some hair, blood sample, saliva sample, etc. And a written statement with the information the operator wants to collect. For example, current status of Andrew Miller in relation to his ability to speak in public and transmit information in the best possible way. In the other plate is placed another small written paper with the desired state. Andrew Miller speaks in public perfectly, in an interesting, relaxed, and communicative way when transmitting information. Some more sophisticated radionic devices permit to write messages on a computer connected to them. With the potentiometers, which are connected to each plate, the operator begins to search a numerical parameter using at the same time a touch panel that is in the device. By sliding the fingers, we will set numerical parameters for both the current state and for the desired state. Passing your fingers over the adherence plate at the same time that we move the dials, adherence will be appreciated in the fingers toward the plate when the dials indicate the appropriate numbering. Generally, the numbering indicated by the dials, potentiometers, will be different for each of the written messages. It is evident that in our example, Andrew has a problem related to communication or simply wants to improve in the best way possible their ability to speak in public. The device is now working. The intention of the operator, embodied in a written text and placed on the plate, is transmitted vibrationally to the sample and thus the person like a radio transmitter. From this moment, it will seem as if the universe began to conspire in order to improve Andrew's communication skills. His interest in public speaking correctly will increase exponentially. It's likely that Andrew finds relevant information to his particular case. Maybe he meets people who are skilled in this regard, or he even develops a special interest for everything related to public speaking. Andrew could see that his abilities start to improve at high speed now, even if he once had no interest in this field. Andrew may also feel much calmer automatically when speaking in public without knowing exactly why, even more imaginative when communicating. It may be expressed more naturally, with more enthusiasm, with a better diction, or the quality of his voice. Perhaps a greater empathy for the public that listens to him, or suddenly he realizes he is able to articulate a warm speech with notes of mood, highlighting key points best suited to capture the interest of those who hear him. As changes happen, the operator will make new measurements, and the potentiometers that measure the content of each of the notes that are on the plates will begin to converge until finally they equal. When this occurs, the improvement process is complete, or is in a point of incredible improvement over the initial state. This same simple process can be used to work on anything: therapies, transmission of information, skills improvement, attracting positive situations, elimination of negative situations, increasing social skills, etc. See section on the most common uses reported by users of radionic devices. Many radionics devices are numerical configurations, example representing healthy organs, words and drawings, or a mixture of them, that researchers have successfully used for different purposes. You may even pass information about homeopathic remedies and other substances to water or liquids with surprising result. To improve and accelerate the results, the radionic devices, which also incorporate generators of life energy or organ, see writings of Dr. William Reich. It is called prana energy for the Hindus or so-called chi for Asians. The same energy that flows through the acupuncture channels considered the basis of life. This additional energy produced within the device itself exponentially increases the efficiency of appliances and helps the operator to achieve the objectives without worrying about his own life energy be drained when working with complex issues or people with weakened energy by the disease. The Radionics device can be used by the owner to himself or use it for another person. The circuit measures the vibration of an intention, easily set by the operator through the adherent plate that tells him what the potentiometers show as correct. Then, the device itself sends the right signals, as if it were a homeopathic remedy, to the subject. In this example, our imaginary Andrew Miller. The internal circuit connects the person's current state with the desired positive conditions that we want to incorporate in that person. The message or trend sought will gradually influence the person at a vibrational level and remotely through their sample, for example, photo, hair, etc. Emitting in radio station mode, the person we want to influence or improve receives the new information and acts unconsciously in the direction of the trend that has been marked on the appliance. At first, when positive results are observed, it is very easy to think that everything is chance. However, when using the Radionics device over and over again with outcomes that meet the expectation, and they are often spectacular, it is hard to deny the evidence of the effectiveness of Radionics. There are simple Radionics devices that only consist of basic circuit and the interconnection between the target and the trend set or expected. In these devices, the operator is paramount. It acts as an antenna, a receiver, and transmitter. The operator's own energy can be drained from this cause. With these devices, ultimate effectiveness is reduced and depends on the energy and mood of the operator. To address this, the most sophisticated Radionics devices incorporate a very powerful organ generator, vital energy, universal energy, chi or prana, as explained above. What does this mean? Very simple. The operator of the Radionics devices simply set the parameters and let it work. The very powerful energy generating exerts a powerful force modulated by the device in the direction of the objective. The operators do not drain their physical or psychic energy, and the results are much faster and accurate. In any case, a radionic device without an organ generator can be very effective today, but its high degree of sophistication, see description of device SE5-1000 in chapter about current radionic devices. However, many users jointly employ both types of devices, with and without organ generator, to ensure extraordinary efficiency in